Aditya. With that out of the way, what I would first like to know from all you guys is कि हम लोगों ने जो लास्ट सेशन में मूविंग एवरेजेस पर जो भी हमने देखा था, समझा था, आई होप उसमें आपको कुछ क्वेरी नहीं हो, एंड अगर हो तो आप अभी पूछ लीजिएगा. सो एक आपको मैं क्विक रन थ्रू दे दूंगा आफ्टर दैट. इन द मीन वाइल if you have any questions, any queries, please put in the live chat. I'll wait for a minute and we'll start from there. A quick run through after the question, after you guys have posted your queries, if at all any. Okay, so मैं आपको ऐसे पूछता हूँ कि अगर आपने हमारा लास्ट टाइम का मूविंग एवरेजेस का वेबिनार अटेंड किया है, क्या आपको क्लैरिटी है एज टू व्हाट मूविंग एवरेजेस आर एंड कौन से मूविंग एवरेजेस जो है वो काफी कॉमनली यूज्ड है, वो चलते कैसे हैं, एक का बेनिफिट क्या है, एक का पिटफॉल क्या है? टाइप इन यस अगर आपको मालूम है. अगर आपको एक भी क्वेश्चन में डाउट है देन प्लीज. So it will be a mix of English and Hindi. I hope that is fine with you because we are catering to a large number of people. So I'll try to maintain a balance between Hindi and English. I hope that's fine with you all. So what I've been telling now is that we are into the second session of moving average. Today we'll be looking at how we can practically apply moving averages. And last time I had a bad throat and we could not discuss the strategies as to how you could put moving averages to use in your trading systems, how to develop strategies around moving averages. So we'll try and touch base on that. And then we have a specific report called as moving average distribution that is sent across on Monday mornings. And we'll tell you how to put it to practical use in today's session. So if anybody has, because before getting into the reports, I want to know that people are comfortable when I use terms like EMA, SMA. I hope they can distinguish between what is the difference between a simple moving average and an exponential moving average. So that is the reason मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ कि please, if you have any questions, let us talk about it now. एंड अगर बीच में भी आपको अगर कुछ क्वेरी है, फील फ्री टू पुट इट इन द चैट बॉक्स. बट अगर आपको कुछ क्वेश्चन है, आई वुड लाइक टू फर्स्ट क्लैरिफाई ऑल योर क्वेश्चंस एंड देन गो अहेड विद इट. ठीक है. सो हम लोग एक काम करते हैं, विल गेट ऑन विद इट. And in the meanwhile, whenever I'm explaining a particular concept or whenever I'm looking at a particular concept, I'll just make sure that we take small breaks and clear your queries. So सबसे पहले when we are looking at moving averages, so हम लोगों ने देखा था कि what are the type of moving averages, what are the uses of moving averages, and what are the different types of moving averages. And उसमें हम लोगों ने ये भी मेंशन किया था कि what are the most commonly used moving averages. So उसके बाद we came on to what is EMA, what is SMA, and then we looked at the difference between EMA and SMA. ठीक है. So quickly going through, so moving average आपको क्या बताता है? It is a statistical measure. Moving average is it basically smoothens out the price. So मैं उसका एक आपको practical example दिखा देता हूँ. Now this is the chart that we saw in today's webinar. So अगर आप देखो, I'll just go to Nifty. ठीक है. When I say it smoothens out the prices, correct? जो आप black line देख रहे हो, I'll hide out all the other lines. ब्लैक लाइन जो आप देख रहे हो, दैट इज अ 21 डे EMA, एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज. ठीक है. सो इसमें आप एक चीज देख सकते हो कि जो प्राइस है, करेक्ट, या सो इसमें आप एक देख सकते हो कि प्राइस, व्हेन यू लुक एट द प्राइसेस एंड व्हेन यू लुक एट द मूविंग एवरेज, both will give you an idea of the trend, but the moving average will smoothen out the jitters. So say for example यहाँ पे it was a bit choppy, but then you saw that the moving average was pretty smooth and it was showing a smooth up move, correct. वैसे यहाँ पे अगर आप देखो तो एक थोड़ा कंसोलिडेशन था, मूविंग एवरेज थोड़ा ही. So जब आप एक 200 डे EMA देखोगे, you can see that it gives you a proper trend as to what the broader trend is. ये आपका पूरा ये जितना भी jitters रहा है बीच में now, this is a daily exponential moving average. The jitters that you see in between are completely wiped off when you're looking at an exponential moving average. This is what we try to sum up in this slide. So it's a statistical measure. It smoothens out the price data and it identifies trend over a period of time. देख सकते हो, there have been resistances, again support, again breakout, again a support. So a moving average will always help you identify support and resistances. That is one of the features or quality of a moving average. Then it comes, identify features or quality of a moving average. Then it comes, identifying trend is something that I just explained, and then generating signals. Generating signals is something that we'll touch base on if we have enough time today. I plan to conduct this webinar for just about 30 minutes. Okay, so उसमें अगर हम लोग को time मिला after me explaining the report, we'll move on to building up strategies. So these are a few kind of moving averages. Okay, but we'll be majorly focusing on the simple moving average and the exponential moving averages. See, other moving averages also have their significance, but then we focus on the most commonly used by majority of the traders. Okay, it's not that something like AMA or average or the adaptive moving averages are not used, but they are the simplicity of understanding things. We are not going to introduce you to a new concept right away. We are not going to introduce you to a new concept right away. We'll just stick to the basic stuff, and we'll go ahead. So SMA अगर आप सिंपल लैंग्वेज में एक्सप्लेन करना है, इट्स अ सिंपल मीन 10 लोगों का डेटा है आपके पास, डिवाइड द सम बाय द टोटल नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस, दैट इज बेसिकली योर SMA. कमिंग ऑन टू EMA, आप उसको वेटेज देते हो द लेटेस्ट डेटा, एंड व्हेन यू गिव वेटेज टू द लेटेस्ट डेटा, it is going to have a few pitfalls. So because I'm just quickly running through it. So yeah, सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज का अगर आप देखोगे, इट इज इक्वली वेटेड. सो इक्वली वेटेड होने की वजह से कैसा होता है कि अगर मैं समझिए I'm plotting a simple moving average here. Moving average simple. I'll switch the periodicity to say 200. Okay. So यहाँ पर अगर आप देखो, say for example this is a span of 200, correct? Whenever the next candle is plot, it will drop one data from here. So उसे drop off data कहते हैं, drop off effect कहते हैं, because जैसे ही periodicity एक point से बढ़ती है वो, so it gives you a drop off effect. What does an exponential moving average do? वो वेटेज देता है लेटेस्ट डेटा को, but at the same time वो ड्रॉप ऑफ इफेक्ट अवॉइड करता है, correct? So that is one of the benefits. And when it comes to exponential moving average, it is faster to react to prices, and but because it is very current price heavy, it does respond very fast, but it also responds to jitters very fast. So I hope you guys are clear with what moving averages are, the kinds of moving averages we have covered. And अगर आपको इससे ज़्यादा clarity चाहिए, then what I would suggest is please go to the webinar, the older webinars that we had recorded, and just watch those webinars. So आपको एक basic idea मिल जाएगा, उसमें हम लोगों ने detail में explain किया हुआ है as to what are moving averages, what are exponential moving averages. यहाँ तक किसी को कुछ query है, कुछ doubt है, कुछ पूछना है, I'll hold for a minute or so, and if I don't have any query, we'll go ahead. But अगर किसी को कुछ query है, there is absolutely no restriction on the number of questions you can ask. Feel free to shoot as many questions as possible. Okay. So I always keep telling this in all our webinars. If there are no questions, that means either the people have understood everything or they have understood absolutely nothing. And I prefer to know an answer. So अगर आप लोग मुझे एक आंसर दे पाओ कि as to what is happening, if you are able to understand everything or if you are not able to understand anything, either ways let me know. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions. So firstly, I would like to introduce you to this report that is put out. Now, ये report आपने देखा होगा. This is one of the fairly latest reports. This is a moving average distribution report. Okay, now moving average distribution as in, I'll run you through what we do in this report as I go ahead and I explain to you how to read this report. And even if you have gone through this report, if you have gone through the second page of the, or the second, slide of this report, there's a detailed explanation as to how this report is made. So now, get me wrong, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to explain to you this report, but what I really want to do is I want you to understand what we are doing here, understand how to use it, correct, so that it helps you in making a so how to read the charts. So if you see, there are multiple sectors here, okay, with the number of stocks in the particular sector and in the bracket. करेक्ट. सो फॉर एग्जांपल ऑटो है, ऑटो में 15 स्टॉक्स है, बैंक्स में 12 है, एनर्जी 10 में 10 स्टॉक्स है, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. सो यू हैव अबाउट 12 सेक्टर्स हियर, एंड 12 के 12 सेक्टर्स में से कितने कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स हैं वो हम लोगों ने वहां पर लिखे हैं, करेक्ट. एज यू गो टुवर्ड्स द राइट ऑफ द रिपोर्ट, मतलब एज यू गो टुवर्ड्स द राइट ऑफ द इमेज, यू आर गोइंग टू सी समथिंग लाइक above 5, above 20, above 50, above 100, above 200. Curious, right? So we'll understand what we try to mean. So, जैसे मैंने को बोला कि exponential moving averages, they are very commonly used weighted moving averages. Correct? They have, the effect of the current price or the latest price on those moving averages is very high because the weightage given to the current price is really high. So, ऐसे टाइम पे the prices they tend to react faster to the change in prices. The moving averages react faster to the change in prices. So, अभी यहाँ पर जब हम लोग बोले कि if you see the values, you might see something like, if I'm looking at auto and I'm looking at something like above EMA 5, okay, उसमें आप देख सकते हो कि there is something called, something like a small bubble, correct, which is again color coded, and then there is something written inside it, that is 53 लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पर. So what does that mean? So for that particular week, 53% of the stocks were above the 5-day exponential moving average. Now this is a daily report, so these are daily exponential moving averages. So जब मैं बोलूं कि above 5 is 53, मतलब there were 53 stocks, 53% of the total number of stocks that were above the 5-day exponential moving average. Same way with 20, same way with 50, 100 and 200, correct? So यहाँ पर हम लोगों ने explain किया है कि when, say for example, above 50 shows the percentage of the stocks that are above a particular moving average. So above 50 would mean that it is, the percentage number of stocks that are above the 50-day EMA. And, for example, in this report, IT, when I'm looking at, 50-day or the above 50, the number was 70. That means 70% of the total number of stocks in IT are above the 50-day moving average. Now one might ask कि अभी मैं इसको read कैसे करूँ या इसको understand कैसे करूँ? So the answer is pretty simple. उसके बाजू में अगर आप देखो, there is another number that is basically the absolute difference in the change in the percentages. अभी if you see when we are looking at the current report, 53% of the stocks are above. So that is basically 47% more than what it was previous week. So it is basically an alpha, a difference between the number of, the percentage of the stocks above a particular moving average previous week and the particular the percentage of stocks that are above a particular moving average in the current week. Correct. So अभी आप क्या देख सकते हो कि the number in say 100 or 200 EMA has not changed. मतलब for the auto stocks, 60% of the stocks are still above their long-term moving averages. Correct. अभी वहीं पर when I'm looking at say something like 50, मतलब medium and slightly longer than medium term में the number of stocks above those particular moving averages has increased. मतलब imagine this scenario where there are say 10 stock, यहाँ पर 15 है. For the convenience we'll take IT sector because there are 10, so whatever the percentage is straight of divide by 10, आपको number of stocks मिल जाएंगे. जब मैं IT की बात कर रहा हूँ, in the previous week all the stocks were above the 100-day moving average or 200-day moving average, because 100% है. उसके पहले वीक में भी they were all above the 200-day moving average. मतलब क्या है? My long-term averages are still intact. Correct? Long-term averages are still intact. मतलब none of the stocks in the IT sector had broken below the long-term moving average. Then we come at the 100-day moving average. So last time also of the 10, 9 stocks were above the 100-day moving average. ये बार भी वही है. Then we come at 50. So 50 moving average क्या बता रहा है, मतलब it's a fairly short term moving average. So at that point ये बता रहे हैं कि 7 stocks of the 10 total number of IT stocks were above the 50-day moving average. Then you come at 20, मतलब आप देख रहे हो कि about 20, मतलब the shorter time frame जो भी analysis करता है, 20 is a common moving average that is used 20, 21. I personally use 21, but 20 it seems to be fairly common. वहां पर the number of stocks above the 20-day exponential moving average have shot up. At the same time, the number of stocks above the 5-day exponential moving average also shot up. Matlab, one could say that for the short term at least, the number of the number of stocks above a particular moving averages are going higher. Matlab, for the short term, in the short term, there is a bit of a turn. अगर आप देख रहे हो कि एक पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक अपने 10 और 20 डे एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज के ऊपर जा रहा है, मतलब एक शॉर्ट टर्म करेक्शन तो आ रहा है, शॉर्ट टर्म रिवर्सल तो आ रहा है if the prior trend was down. So this is how you basically read the moving average report and how to put it to use. So अगर आपको इसमें कुछ query है, please put it in the chat box. अगर query नहीं है, then I'll go on to building systems using moving averages. I'll wait for 2 minutes. And अगर किसी को कुछ query नहीं है, we'll move on to building understanding how to use moving averages while building systems. किसी को कुछ भी query है, please put it in the chat box. Please feel free to ask as many questions as possible. Okay, looks like everyone has understood how to read the report. So what we'll do is we'll quickly go to आपके पास आपका जो भी preferred trading platform या charting platform है, I mean charting platform है, go on to that. And now we will try and build a system around moving average. Now एक चीज मैं आपको absolutely clear करना चाहता हूँ, this is not a recommendation. This is not any sort of trading idea. इसमें आप जो भी analysis देख रहे हो, that is only and only for educational purpose, nothing else. And one more thing that I want to reiterate is, over the past few weeks, we have come across situations where people have fallen for a few people saying that they are a part of the Access group and they run a private VIP WhatsApp channel and all those things. Access employees are not allowed to do those things. They are not allowed to charge customers for generating recommendations. And Access के द्वारा जो भी आपको recommendations या जो भी आएगा, it will be only and only through official channels, nothing else. So with that out of the way, now I want you guys, other than the moving averages that I have here, I want to know what are the kind of moving averages that you use in your trading setups, that you use in your trading systems. आप लोग chat box में डालिए. Please let me know what are the moving averages that you guys have been using since you guys have been trading. प्लीज पुट इट इन द चैट बॉक्स कि आप लोग क्या सिस्टम्स यूज कर रहे हो. जब आप ट्रेड करने के लिए वगैरह जो भी आपका सिस्टम रहेगा, करेक्ट, उसमें आप क्या क्या मूविंग एवरेजेस यूज करते हो. Okay, then I'll simply go out and explain how I would look at a system. Now, जब भी आप मूविंग एवरेजेस प्लॉट करते हो, ठीक है, आपने हमारे पीपीटी में भी देखा था कि हाउ टू यूज मूविंग एवरेजेस में. मूविंग एवरेजेस कैन बी यूज्ड एज सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंसेस, करेक्ट. So support and resistances का एक simple logic है. When a particular support is broken, it is considered to be bearish. When a particular resistance is broken, it is considered to be bullish. That is one of the criterias of how to use moving averages. Correct. For example, सा 5-day exponential moving average है. This is a simple chart of Nifty. ठीक है. You see, we'll take small examples. Correct. So ये particular time frame में देखिए. I'll just box it out. Let's see if there is a rectangle. Yeah. Okay. What are we analyzing? We are analyzing this phase of the market. All right. So yeah. So एक यहाँ पर negative पे negative candle बने थे 3 दिनों के लिए. The price, okay, 20 days for the short term, 200 day for the long term. Okay, that's quite a good input. Thank you for that input. So, what I commonly do is, or what as an analyst I prefer to do is, first take a short term moving average. So यहाँ पर अगर आप देख सकते हो ये पूरे इसमें अप मूव में the prices have been above the particular moving average, correct? Then you have to mix probably something like a candle. यहाँ पर मुझे candle दिख रहा है and I normally prefer to mix multiple things when I develop a particular system. So यहाँ पर मैं आपको एक बात बोलता हूँ. See, when you are looking at moving averages, it will tell you trend. Correct. यहाँ पर हम लोग को पता चला कि the prices are below the average price of the past 5 days, with the recent data having more weightage. बट ये कैंडल जो है ये आपको एक एग्जॉशन बताएगा, अ पॉसिबल एग्जॉशन कि यहाँ से ऊपर जाना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. सो कैंडल्स दे विल टेल यू द साइकोलॉजी, व्हाट द बेसिक ट्रेंड इज. सो यहाँ पर अगर आप देखो ये कंसोलिडेशन था, सो इट वाज नॉट बेसिकली हेडिंग एनीवेयर एंड देन इट मूव्ड अबाउट द एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग. सो आपने एक मूविंग एवरेज डाला. अभी एक आप कैसे यूज करोगे? जस्ट सिंपल ब्रेक बिलो द पर्टिकुलर मूविंग एवरेज कुड बी अ सेल सिग्नल, ब्रेक अबव अ पर्टिकुलर मूविंग एवरेज कुड बी अ बाय सिग्नल. एंड ऐसे टाइम पे आपका अभी फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं ये सिनेरियो वेयर आई एम एबल टू एग्जीक्यूट एट द ओपन एंड स्क्वायर ऑफ एट द क्लोज, व्हिच अगेन इज नॉट क्वाइट पॉसिबल, बट अगर ऐसा सिनेरियो है, अगर ऐसा सिनेरियो है, so ideally if I go short here, my stop loss should be somewhere here. So I'm going short at 24,800 hypothetically, and then in that case my stop loss would be 25,083, or because there is a gap I would also take 24,900 as my stop loss. It all depends on the kind of system, the kind of position you are trying to build up. Then as we go ahead, what I could also do is add another moving average to it. Okay, single moving average based system पे किसी को कुछ query है, कुछ doubt है? So what I basically do is, yes, that is another I mean see, आप लोग कोई भी permutation combination कर सकते हो. All you have to do is understand if it makes sense and if it is working for you. Say for example अभी कोई आ सकता है, बोल सकता है कि मैं 75 पीरियड मूविंग एवरेज डालूंगा विदाउट एनी रैशनल, 35 पीरियड मूविंग एवरेज डालूंगा. एंड सी आई हैव आल्सो सीन पीपल डू दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग. यहाँ पे 5 है तो उन लोग प्रोबेबली 10 डाल के ट्राई करेंगे. they'll see okay ये better है तो आज से ये मेरा सिस्टम. ये ऐसे नहीं होता है. So see, understand the psychology behind using a particular moving average. Now I'm not telling that something like 20, 50, 200 is wrong. There is a rationale behind it. So 20 लोग क्यों use करते हैं? It is basically a month. Correct. एक महीने में 30 दिन होते हैं, but only 22 days you are working. So that is why a 20-day moving average. Correct. वहीं पर अगर 200 अगर आप देखोगे, सो बेसिकली इफ यू हैव 252 वर्किंग डेज, 252 आप कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते थे इन द ओल्डन डेज बिकॉज इट यूज्ड टू बी मैनुअल, कंप्यूटर्स नहीं होते थे तभी. सो 200 डेज वाज वेयर इट वाज राउंडेड ऑफ टू. उसका अगर आप हाफ लोगे तो इट इज 100, उसका अगर आप हाफ लोगे तो इट इज 50. सो बेसिकली अ क्वार्टर वुड बी 50, अ फुल ईयर वुड बी 200. So this used to be the logic around building those or giving those moving average a particular value. वो particular value वो particular एवरेज का वैल्यू इसीलिए बनता था. बट नाउ दैट you have systems, you have charting softwares, all those things, correct? So you can try and see now. अभी अगर आप देखो तो मेरा system जो है, that is basically a 5-day, which is 1 week, a 13-day, which is slightly faster, and I choose to use something like, just give me a second, 21-day exponential moving average. Why? Because for me personally ये थोड़ा better काम कर रहा है. Okay. So अभी हम लोग देखेंगे कि हम लोगों ने सिंगल सिस्टम देखा, हम लोगों ने देखा कि whenever the prices break above a particular moving average, there is a long signal with either the same candles low as the stop loss, or the previous candles low as the stop loss, or if there is a gap and I see the gap filling, that also could be my stop loss. So stop loss for the time is not something that I would discuss, because stop losses are basically defined by the kind of parameters you add. मतलब अगर आप कैंडल उसमें ऐड कर रहे हो, then it will tell you the psychology कि ये प्राइस के ऊपर जाएगा तो ही मेरा स्टॉप लॉस उड़ेगा. So those kind of things. अगर आप डबल मूविंग एवरेजेस यूज कर रहे हो, मतलब इन दिस के 5 and 13 यूज कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, ये पर्टिकुलर एनालिसिस को आई जस्ट एक्सटेंड इट अ बिट मोर एंड तक. चलो ठीक है, मैं बोल रहा हूं कि यहाँ पर दैट इज ऑन द 16th of August मेरा लॉन्ग पोजीशन का सेटअप आ गया था. Why? Because my candle was very strong. It broke about both the averages, correct? So this would be my ideal setup. अभी ideally मैं क्या करूंगा, when the prices go above the 16th August high, I into a long position, correct? So इसका यूज करने का तरीका ऐसा है कि you can either wait for the short term moving average to cross over the long term moving average, or what you can do is you can go long when there is a break above both the short term and the long term moving averages. Either ways ये आपको ट्रेंड से कब निकाल रहा था बाहर. Say for example आपने यहाँ पर 16th पर is where you generated the signal. Did this affect the your long position? No. It gave you an exit probably on 1st of October, correct? So ये पूरा difference आपको खाने को मिला. मतलब you have kind of improved the system, added more complexity to it, but kind of improved the system. क्यों मैं बोल रहा हूँ? Because see, यहाँ से अगर आप लॉन्ग करते तो यहाँ पर आपको एग्जिट मिल गया, यहाँ पर आपको फिर एक लॉन्ग मिल गया, फिर एग्जिट हो गया. So moving averages tend to, because they follow the prices very closely, उसका इन आउट बहुत ज्यादा होता है. एंड दिस हैपेंस स्पेशली व्हेन देयर इज अ रेंज बाउंड मार्केट, समथिंग लाइक दिस, करेक्ट? यहाँ पर अगर आप 5 डे यूज करोगे तो यू गेटिंग ट्रैप मल्टीपल टाइम्स, द प्रोबेबिलिटी इज मच 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 हायर देन यू यूजिंग 2 मूविंग एवरेजेस. और नाउ यहाँ पर जब मैं 2 मूविंग एवरेजेस यूज कर रहा हूँ, एक होता है मेरा सिग्नल लाइन. अभी एक हम लोगों ने देखा कि व्हेन द शॉर्ट टर्म मूविंग एवरेजेस क्रॉसेस ओवर द लॉन्ग टर्म मूविंग एवरेजेस, आपको एक लॉन्ग सिग्नल आया. I can modify this system. Now how can I modify this system? Okay, I have defined my entry point here. Exit यहाँ पर. Now please keep in mind, my one of the guys that I've worked with has always told me one thing. There is a difference between doing an analysis and doing a postmortem. पोस्टमॉर्टम क्यों? वाई? सी, आई नो दिस थिंग हैज ऑलरेडी हैपेंड, तो मुझे यहाँ पे बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मैंने यहाँ पे एग्जिट किया, यहाँ पर एंट्री मारा. नो. बट ये सिनेरियो में अभी मैं क्या करूं, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, दैट इज एनालिसिस. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड, रीडिंग दिस थिंग इज बेसिकली पोस्टमॉर्टम. सो यहाँ पर आपको एक बात ध्यान रखनी है, बिकॉज दीज थिंग्स हैव हैपेंड, दिस थिंग इज आई मीन द सिस्टम इज लुकिंग वेरी वेरी रोजी एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. वाई? बिकॉज ये चीजें हो चुकी हैं ऑलरेडी, एंड वी कैन कॉन्फिडेंटली से दैट दीज things have worked well, so आगे भी चलेगा. But market situations keep changing. आज का जो market situation है, कल का market situation same नहीं होगा. So you have to thread carefully. आप जो भी moving averages जो भी आप use कर रहे हो, you have to thread free when you are developing your system. ठीक है? अभी इसमें I am going to add one more moving average. Why am I going to do it? Because मुझे long term trend जानना है. So उसके लिए what I've done is added a 21-day exponential moving average. So 21-day exponential moving average becomes my basic moving average to tell me what the basic trend is. The 5-day exponential moving average at this point is the fastest moving average, so that could become my signal line. And then I have a medium term moving average, that is the 13. So ऐसे सिचुएशन में what I can do is wait for something called as a correct order breakout. Correct order breakout is nothing. It sounds fancy, but it is absolutely nothing. So ये क्या बोलता है कि ideally the fastest moving average should track the prices very closely. Then the medium term moving average would follow the prices, and then comes the long term moving average. So ideally the 5-day moving average should always be above the 13-day moving average, and both the 5 and the 13 should be above the 21-day moving average. अंडरस्टूड. यहां तक किसी को कुछ क्वेरी है अबाउट सिंगल यूजिंग सिंगल मूविंग एवरेजेस और यूजिंग टू मूविंग एवरेजेस सिस्टम्स? कुछ क्वेरी है प्लीज आस्क. आई विल आल्सो टेक अ मिनट और सो एक छोटा ब्रेक मैं भी ले लूंगा 1 मिनट का. अगर आपको कुछ क्वेरी है प्लीज पुट इट इन द चैट बॉक्स. Okay, looks like there is no query, so we'll go ahead. When using 3 moving averages, how do I generate signals? Now on this chart, because these are moving averages that are probably very short. करेक्ट. यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हो कि तीनों एक साथ टर्न हो रहे हैं, तीनों एक साथ टर्न नीचे आ रहे हैं, तीनों एक साथ ऊपर जा रहे हैं. But if we modify the periodicity a bit, say for example I make the 21-day my smallest, I mean the fastest moving average, switch the 13-day to probably 50-day. Okay, 21 को मैं 200 कर देता हूँ. Okay, 200 here for the sake of convenience I'll do it 144. ठीक है. Now ऐसे situation में one can look at the kind of returns नहीं बोलूंगा मैं, but the kind of opportunity it gave you. Again एक बात मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ जो मैंने आपको पहले भी बोला था. Now these things have already happened, so इसीलिए इसको एनालाइज करना, देखना, समझना इट्स वेरी इजी. आपको ये सिस्टम में एंट्री मिली करेक्ट ऑर्डर ब्रेकआउट से. फॉर एग्जांपल आप फॉलो कर रहे हो, आपको एंट्री मिली ऑन द 26th of April 2023. It kept you in the trade all the way till 29th August. करेक्ट. यहाँ पे आपको एंट्री मिली till 29th of August, you were in the trade. Then it went a bit sideways. करेक्ट. आपने यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा शॉर्ट पोजीशन लिया रहेगा, probably at cost or something of that sort. You might have exited. Now I'm really sorry if you cannot see the screen properly. What I would suggest is just zoom in, because मुझे एक ओवरऑल ट्रेंड बताना है, एक ओवरऑल ट्रेजेक्टरी बतानी है कि कहाँ पे इसने आपको एंट्री दिया होगा, कहाँ पे इसने आपको एग्जिट दिया होगा. What I want you to understand is how changing the periodicity of the moving averages is going to affect your system. करेक्ट. सो हम लोग पहले देख रहे थे, एक महीने का डेटा देख रहे थे. यू आर सीइंग दैट ऑल द 3 मूविंग एवरेजेस वर फॉलोइंग द प्राइसेस वेरी क्लोजली, बट एज वी इंक्रीज द पीरियोडिसिटी एक थोड़ा आपको ब्रॉडर पिक्चर मिल रहा है एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. सो यहाँ पर इट अगेन गेव यू एन, because your short term moving average crossed the medium term moving average, and then there was a correct order prices. I mean the moving averages were there, the 21 day being at the top, followed by 50 and 144 down. So ऐसे टाइम पर यहाँ पर आपने एंट्री मारी होगी, that was around 15th of November 2023. You were there in the trade till 17 Jan 24, and then there was a bit jitter. Correct. That is one of the pitfalls of the moving average system, because they follow the prices very closely. The prices, they tend to go up and down, up and down, up and down multiple times if the market is in consolidation. Because basically आपका moving average flat हो जाता है, and then there are jitters around it. So ऐसे टाइम पर the best thing to do is either see if there is momentum. If there is no momentum, stay out of a trade. And अगर आपको enter करना ही है, then you can use other parameters to enter into a trade. So यहाँ पे I hope you are able to get a gist of what I'm trying to convey. Is everybody understanding what I'm trying to tell? Everybody understanding what I'm trying to say? Anybody has any query about what about anything that I've told till now? किसी को कुछ query है about what we have covered till now? Okay, looks like there are no queries. So basically, you can use moving averages in multiple methods to develop a system. You can use a single moving average by just understanding the positioning of the price with regards to the moving average. If the price breaks above the moving average, it's a long. If the price, now this is not a recommendation, this is not any any strategy recommendation, nothing of that sort. I'm just explaining to you the simple logic of building a system which is based around the moving average. EMA. So you would be long if the prices go above a particular moving average, short if the price is below a particular moving average. If you're applying two different moving averages in the system, then you would either use the faster moving average as an entry and exit signal, or what you would do is wait for the shorter moving average to cross over the longer moving average from below to ent- to enter into long positions. Vice versa, if you want to enter into short positions, matlab, if you see that the short term moving average is crossing below the long term moving average, ऐसा कुछ सिचुएशन हो रहा है where the yeah, ऐसा सिचुएशन है where the short term moving average, I mean the faster moving average has crossed below the long term moving average. It could be a short setup for you, or you could use three different moving averages, one to identify the trend, one and two moving averages to give you entry and exit signals. किसी को यहाँ तक कुछ क्वेरी है, कुछ पूछना है, कुछ बोलना है? So the report that I was explaining to you earlier, it essentially tells you this: what is the positioning of every single component in a particular sector with regards to the crucial or the critical, the most important moving averages. So that's all for today's session. I would like to halt here. If you have any queries, if you want to ask something, say something, please let us know. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Okay, looks like there are no questions, looks like there are no queries. So I'm assuming that people have understood. But अगर आपको कुछ query है, कुछ पूछना है, then feel free to ask about all these things in any of our webinars. Especially the ones that we do during the week, the expiry webinars, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Okay, so we'll end the session here today. Thank you all for joining in. You guys have been very good crowd. So thank you for the participation. Thank you for taking the time out during the day. So that's all from us, guys. We'll see you next week again with another topic. Thank you.